Hi there. Today I'm delighted to review Only the Dead, which is the sixth book by Jack Carr in his James Reece series. And a bit of a spoiler, if you haven't read book 5, In the Blood, I'm going to give away the ending of that because Only the Dead follows on from it. So if you haven't read the previous book, you might want to fast forward a little bit because what happened at the end of In the Blood, which was a terrific tale, and I remember as I was reading it, it was kind of coming to its natural conclusion. Excuse me. James Reece has won the day and he's returning home to tea and medals when he gets arrested by the FBI for assassinating the president. It's a real cliffhanger and a thunderclap of an ending to a book, and I couldn't wait to find out what happened next. And as soon as Only the Dead was published, I bought the copy and I've read it and just finished it. So the book opens, it's about 3 months later, and James Reece is incarcerated in a federal excuse me, supermax somewhere in the Rockies, and he's been kept not only in solitary confinement but in darkness, been kept in total darkness. And so in the book you're getting his thought processes and how he manages to achieve a level of stability, some touchstones to keep him through the process and to give him hope. And it's a pretty good glimpse at a particular type of survival mindset. So from there, he's eventually let out by Vic, his boss in the CIA, who all this time has been working to resolve what actually happened, and goes into detail about how the president was assassinated using an explosively formed projectile. But there was a decoy attack, a diversionary attack fired by firearm to channel the president into a choke point where he's killed by a projectile device. And Vic has realised straight away, he knew that it couldn't have been Jack anyway, for many, many reasons. So he's more or less kept Jack on ice while he's determined what really happened. And now he's enlisted as his top operator now to dig deeper and find out who was behind it and why. So the action then switches to Russia with meetings with the heads of the FSB, the Domestic Security Service, the SVR, the External Intelligence Service, and one of the top political chiefs. And over the course of a couple of chapters, we find out that there's a plot underway, and I won't reveal, I don't want to spoil this book, but the plot would end up with America's position in the world as the true superpower being sidelined, Israel being ruined, and Russia and China in the ascendant again, or in the ascendant. So that's the plot, and it's quite a complex plot, lots of moving parts, but they're explained very, very well. And meanwhile, the overall plot of the book is really about a group which has been running since World War II, called the Collective, which really it's a globalist elite, and they from all sides, and they look after each other, and they manipulate both the financial markets, the commodities markets, and also use tension and diplomatic crises to influence these markets and make a lot of money. And the Vic in the CIA and a few of the other characters who were introduced to are of the belief that there's always been a penetration of the American government at some level, because there's a lot of unexplained failures, and that's really what the book's about. And it goes back into Jack's father, who was a SEAL and a CIA paramilitary officer, and why he was killed by the Russians, and who he was close to, and so on. And the father, we know this from a previous book, has left a legacy for James Reece of something in a safe deposit box, and a big part of the book is the search for that. Now, many thriller writers and screenwriters will create seemingly impossible situations for the hero to escape from. They put him into extreme peril with no obvious way out, and then they kind of challenge themselves to create plausible means to do this. The Modesty Blaze books are really based on this. Modesty and Willie often end up in ways that you think they can never get out, and it's only by using their mixture of mindset and variety of skills and their ability to improvise that they get out. And similarly in this book, there's at least 3 situations where you think, how is he going to get out of this? And it's a tribute to the writing of Jack Carr that he does it in a way that it doesn't stretch your credulity, it doesn't rely on coincidence, and it relies on skills, aggression, extreme violence, and a warrior mindset. So I find those sections particularly interesting and gripping in the book. Like the previous books, there's a lot of mention of the guns and gear, his weapons, his personal equipment, some of the communications equipment and so on is explained in detail. Some people don't like this, but it's the genre. In many ways we can say that Ian Fleming started this by describing the fact that James Bond carried a Walther, or he had his Rolex watch and so on. And since then it has become part of the genre. As you may guess from these videos, I like it. I like it a lot. It's not obtrusive, and Jack Carr in fact does regular podcasts talking about guns and gear, knives, other pieces of equipment, so it's one of his main interests. So it would be rather a puzzle if he didn't put them in a thriller. Okay, so I'm recording this on the Tuesday night following the weekend where the events in Ukraine and Russia concerning the Wagner group erupted. Now, there is a strand of the plot in this book which centres around the Wagner group and its leader, who's not the real leader, it's another guy, for fictional purposes. And the book's fiction, and it's a thriller, and it's a plot. However, if Jack Carr had put in the plot what actually happened the past weekend, where the Wagner Group decided to invade Moscow, I think many people would have regarded that as a ridiculous plot element. So, truth is strange in fiction. Jack Carr's pulled it off again. Another terrific book. It doesn't really leave cliffhangers and pointers to the direction of the next book, like the previous book did. So I think we can expect book 7 to be something completely different again and take us into new territory. And personally, I can't wait. Just as an aside, the Terminal List, which was a massive success as a TV series, has been renewed. There's going to be another series. Plus, they've actually added a prequel series where we're going to get more of the backstory. So Jack Carr's really firing on all cylinders.